All right, here we are with the coach, Kade Reynolds. We're going to take a look back at their win against West Muskingum. And of course, it's sectional final tomorrow against Carrollton, who knocked off Beaver Local. So you lose Nate with that ankle issue after you were on a run, and then you kind of had to shift gears a little bit. Talk about your win against West Muskingum, 66-61.
Yeah, it started off hot. I mean, it's honestly one of the best starts we've had all season. Nate goes down literally at the buzzer to end the first quarter. I think it took some air out of us a little bit, took some air out of the sails. Second quarter, West Muskingum come in. I think they hit 3 or 4 different threes. Cut the game to 2 before halftime. But we had guys like Julius Jones, Owen Frederick, Gavin Wright step in off the bench, take some of Nate's minutes, some of Nate's shots, and really made the most of it. Thought Julius Jones played the best game he has all season. And we needed everyone that played minutes the other night. We needed their minutes, and they all played really good minutes. West Muskingum plays in an amazing league, probably the best league in the state of Ohio, in my opinion. So we knew they weren't going to go away. They're the 8th seed. We had them beat. We had up to a point where I thought we could bury them early, and they really fired back and tested us. So it was good though. We needed that. We needed that test, and it only prepped us for tomorrow night.
Can fatigue be a part of a problem for a team this time of year?
Yeah, fatigue definitely can be a part of of any team, especially a team trying to make a playoff run with the flu going around. We're trying to dodge it here and there, but we try to limit that when it comes to practice. We don't sit here and go 2.5 hours and just beat each other up all the time. We watch as much film as we can, make sure the guys are still loose, we're still playing, going over our stuff, but we really want to focus on scouting what the other team's going to do, what our game plan is, and then get off after an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, because there's no need to beat each other up whenever you have a playoff game tomorrow.
So you took on Carrollton back in December. Obviously, the tale of two teams, much different this time of year, as is the Potters.
Yep.
What do you remember the most about Carrollton?
They could shoot it. They got a guard who's hit 80-some threes on the season, which is just absolutely incredible. They can shoot it. They play really hard. They're really well coached. Ackerman's going to have them, fired on all cylinders and wanting to win a playoff game. But we did get the best of them once. Hopefully we can do it again. But we know it's, like you said, tale of two teams. Both teams are totally different than they were early in the season. And Carrollton's going to bring it tomorrow.
Happy about having that game here, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime we can play in front of the Potter faithful, I'll take it. I think we've lost one game here all season. Dayton clear back into last year. So anytime we can play in front of the Potter Fieldhouse, man, I'll take it.
So as you are getting to that point where it could be over sooner than later, just looking back at this point, here you are. How do you feel at this point as a first-year head coach?
Someone asked me that the other day, and it's an interesting question for me because, obviously I want to be perfect. I know that's not reasonable, but I want to win every game. I want to have the best practice every single night, and it's not a realistic thing. But I think that's the goal. That's the goal is to get 1% better every single day. And all in all, in the season, I would say I'm proud of where we are. We were tested a lot. Obviously, there's some games that I want back that I think we might probably fumbled the bag a little bit. The Buckeye 8 Championship, the OVAC Championship.
You really wanted them, didn't you?
Absolutely, and those were goals that the team wanted and that we as coaches wanted. But those are just smaller goals on the way to a bigger goal, and obviously that bigger goal is to get to the district final. So maybe dropping the ball in 2 championship games like that will only prep us for a long playoff run. So that's what I'm keeping my fingers crossed and hope for.
What do you want to see with this program moving forward that will help you as a coach and obviously get your players more opportunity on and off the court?
We just have to continue to realize that it's got to be we, not me. We have to realize that to win what we want to win as Potters, we have to do it together. It's got to be the 5 dudes on the court and the 10 dudes on the bench have to all want the same goal. It can't be a guy coming in here putting a Potter jersey on and saying, man, I hope I score 1,500 points, or I hope I'm District Player of the Year, or first team All-State. I hope we do have some of those players here and there. And I think we have some of those players on the team now that have those potential to earn those awards like that. But all in all, it has to be, we have to focus on team goals before we can focus on individual goals.
How do you get this young team of yours, because they are young, you've got some really young talent, especially that 8th grade team coming up, to connect to the rich history of this Potter alumni and the history of this basketball program? Because I truly believe that goes a long way in building a solid foundation.
I agree with you to a point, I really do. But I also think that at times we have kind of rode our history and our
you want to create your own
our
history.
past too much. I think sometimes we have walked in like, oh, we're the Potters in '99 we made the state Final Four, and that's right. We did that. That's great. That's awesome. But we didn't. So we have to play and practice how they did back then to get to that point. Just because you had a team in 1999 make the Final Four doesn't mean that teams are just going to lay down for you. It doesn't mean anything to anyone else but people in this building. So we have to get back to what made those teams great, and it starts with this. This senior class. This senior class has really pushed our younger classmen. So we have 8 seniors, and then we have a bunch of younger guys.
Right.
So hopefully those younger guys have learned from these seniors just to dig deep, and every time that we've been tested this year, they have pushed back, and hopefully them younger guys can just keep building off of the foundation that these older guys have left.
Listen, can't thank you enough. It's been an incredible year. Hopefully they'll get one coming up tomorrow night. But in the meantime, it's just nice to see the brand on a solid foundation again. You've had recent success for sure, but it's just nice as you're at this point of the season looking back. It was a pretty rock solid year, Coach.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm always looking to improve. But it was definitely a solid year. We won some games that I think people didn't expect us to win, and like I said, we got better. We're better than we were at the start of the season. We had some kids blossom that didn't have this success in the past. We have a kid. Deshaun Kirby averaging a double-double at times. Blake Atkins averaging a double-double at times. Our guards, he won't like me for saying this on film, but Quentin Conrad shot the 3-ball last year at sub 20% on the season and played a ton of minutes. He was a varsity starter, and this year he's pushing 40% from the 3-point line, which is a huge difference. And I don't even think he realizes that guys like Cohen Pease, who Cohen had come in from, people think only a 3-point shooter, to where he has evolved his game into a true point guard. Owen Fredericks, Gavin Wright, Julius Jones, guys that were straight up JV minute players last year who stepped into big time varsity starters and varsity minutes at times. So even though this group was all seniors, I think people didn't realize the lack of varsity experience in some of them, and they never disappointed me. They've come and pushed each other every single day, pushed me as a coach, and that's what we need. We got to continue to do that, and we're not done yet. We're ready to keep this thing rolling.
Blue and white forever. Have a great night, everybody.
No fingers.
Thanks, Ricky.